everyone. Thank you for being here today. We sincerely appreciate you being here. I look around the room and we are so grateful that so many of you decided to come today and be part of this special honor for the officers that we're going to recognize. We want to welcome our dignitaries, our DPD family and friends, CAP Award recipients, community members, and guests. My name is Christy Mockeruck, and I am the co-president of the CAP Board and the Community Engagement Program Manager here at District 3 and also at District 2.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming to celebrate with these officers. This is one of my favorite occasions. The times that we have it, and it's because I have a pretty healthy appreciation for our police department. I think our police department is the greatest in the country, and the reason why it's the greatest in the country is because we have the greatest officers and professional staff, and I see examples of that all the time. Just yesterday in this space, we graduated a number of leaders and prospective leaders from our DU Leadership Academy. I see Brian Lang in the back. These are members of our department who we invested in, and they kind of reinvested in the department by thinking about some of our harder challenges and problems and coming up with solutions. And so yesterday I was able to hear their presentations and just see how much they care about this department and how they want to solve some of our more difficult problems. And then today we're going to hear about a lot of stories that that we don't often hear about. We hear a lot about our protest response. We hear a lot about some of our other issues that are much more prominent. But I think the things that you're going to hear today are actually the things that our officers engage in much more often. It's unfortunate that it doesn't get the media play that it really should, because these are just examples of how tremendous all of our officers are, and so I'm proud to work with them every day. Look forward to occasions to celebrate all of their accomplishments, large and small. And so I thank you all for coming to celebrate too. Thank you.
Citizens Appreciate Police, also known as CAP, honors the officers of the Denver Police Department who provide service to our community above and beyond the call of duty. Formed in 1978 by Mayor Bill McNichols and District Attorney Dale Tooley, CAP is a nonprofit organization whose intention is to bring awareness of the compassion and professionalism displayed every day by Denver police officers as they respond to the needs of the community members they serve. The mission of the CAP Board is to seek out and publicly acknowledge police officers who have gone above and beyond the call of duty in their service to the community. The CAP Award consists of an inscribed plaque and a CAP pin. This pin is the only civilian awarded pin allowed to be worn on a Denver police officer's uniform. Presentations of these awards take place up to 4 times a year. To date, more than 550 members of the Denver Police Department have received a CAP award. And so we'd like to get started, and if I could ask Keith to come on up, please.
Good morning, everyone. Could I please have Technician Hohnholz and Deputy DA Heather Hohnholz with me? She's always got a smile. You gotta love it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give a brief snippet on why Technician Hohnholz is up here today, and the cleanup batter is going to be Deputy DA Kate Horton, who successfully prosecuted the case that we're gonna be discussing in a little bit. Technician Hohnholz's actions contributed to the successful conviction of a serial rapist and murderer operating in the Colfax corridor, resulting in a substantially positive impact to the community. Technician Hohnholz's diligence investigating this case in 2013 showed her passion for justice and preparation for the case. It was obvious to the prosecuting district attorney that Technician Hohnholz cares deeply about her cases and victims and demonstrates an extremely high level of professionalism that reflects positively on the Denver Police Department. It would not have been possible without the quality and thoroughness of her initial investigation combined with her diligence in preparation for the testimony. Okay.
So my name is Kate Horton. I'm a district attorney in Denver. And in 2021, I got assigned to a case that was a sex assault and a homicide of a defendant named Randy Hausch. And if you work in District 6, you probably recognize the name Randy Hausch because he has been a serial rapist on Colfax for the better part of the last 2 decades. And Randy picks exclusively transient, alcoholic, older, smaller, Native American women. He's got a real specific type. And because he picks victims who are not likely to be believed, who have credibility issues, who have weaknesses or other vulnerabilities that he is deliberately exploiting, we had never really had a good shot to prosecute Randy before 2021 when we were lucky to catch some of his actions on surveillance camera. Given that Mr. Hausch had such a distinct pattern to his victims, we went back looking through his old cases and found a 2013 case investigated by then sex assault detective Heather Hohnholz with a woman whose name was Desiree. I filed a 404B motion to get in his prior incidents. We were able to win that in front of the court, and I called Heather out of the blue, probably in 2023, and I said, "Hi, you don't really know me, but I work at the district attorney's office. Do you remember a man named Randy Hausch?" And Heather said, "I remember Randy." I said, "Great, I just won a 404B motion and I'd like to bring you in to testify on a different case number on a new trial." And she said, "You tell me when, I'll be ready." And she was absolutely ready. And so one of the things I want to talk about is that in law enforcement, we talk a little bit about answering the call, right? Answering the call of duty. And I think a lot of times the idea is that that's at 2 in the morning or it's at Thanksgiving, that it's at some point inconvenient for you to be able to do the great work that you do. But Heather got the call after a decade, and she was ready. She was ready to come forward on this case and get Desiree the justice that she deserved. And we convicted Randy on the Class 1 felony. He will be serving a life in prison sentence as soon as we can get him sentenced, because that's a mandatory sentence. And I can tell you from talking to Desiree that Desiree views that as her conviction, the conviction she deserved on Randy's case from 2013. And it was, she described to me, one of the very best moments of her life. And Desiree's not a woman who's had a lot of great moments in her life, and this was a real shining moment for her. I also want to talk just briefly about the fact that Desiree answered our call. And I mean that in sort of a figurative way because we had to track her down on Colfax. But after 11 years, we came to Desiree and we said, "Do you remember Randy Hausch? Are you willing to come in and testify on his case?" And the reason she said yes is because of how Heather treated her in 2013. Treated her with dignity, with respect, with kindness. She had a great experience with Heather. And let me tell you that being a sex assault victim is one of the very hardest things that we ask people to do in the criminal justice system. We ask mostly women, but we ask victims to get up there and talk about one of the most painful, private, worst times in their lives, and we ask them to get cross-examined by defense attorneys whose exclusive defense is victim blaming. And we ask people to do that voluntarily. And the reason that Desiree agreed to do that is because of the experience that she had with Heather in 2013. And so I just want to commend Heather again for her incredible work on the 2013 case and for answering the call a decade later and helping us get this conviction against somebody who really deserved it, and for adding to justice in Denver. Colfax is maybe not the safest place in our city, but it's been a lot safer since we got Randy Hausch off the streets. And so I'd ask everybody to give Heather a round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present a CAP award to Technician Heather Hohnholz.
One more time.
One works?
You got to turn, yeah, you're looking at me. Now we got you. Got it, thank you.
Sergeant Justin Jones, could you make your way up here? Oh, you're right there.
I'm Justin Jones. I have the privilege of working with Heather right now today in the Information Management Unit, which is her current assignment on the department. If you don't know Heather, she's been around a lot on the department.
Can you speak up, please?
Sorry. Riding horses, doing all kinds of good stuff on the job. So when I got the email that said to attend this ceremony today, it came as no surprise. The hardest part was figuring out what Heather would be getting an award for today. My first thought was maybe it's for her fantastic work on the department's peer support unit, supporting our officers every day. Nope, that's not it. Well, maybe it's for Heather's work as a crisis negotiator, right? She's on the CNT team, that's the crisis negotiation team. Maybe it's for that work. Nope, it's not for that either. Well, what the heck is she getting an award for today? Oh, it's something that happened 10 years ago. And so I can't speak much to that event. What I can speak to is the Heather that I know and that I've worked with for several years in the IMU. And I looked at it and I tried to break it down. What is it that brought back an award after 10 years? And so when you look at Heather, every stone you turn over, there's excellence. She's incredible. Attention to detail, an unwavering commitment to this department, to the people, a relentless work ethic, an ability to form a connection. If you've ever gone anywhere with Heather, you'll know that she has the ability to make an old friend out of a person that she's known for 5 minutes. That's something that it's unparalleled. I've never met another person that can do that the way Heather does. So when I hear that our victim was cooperative because of the way that Heather handled that first investigation, undoubtedly that has to be the truth. My first interaction, one of our first interactions with Heather was she was working in ops support. I went down there and I needed something fast. And she said, sit down and talk to me for 5 minutes and then you can ask me for something. I said, sure. Well, you know what? 35 minutes later, we were joking like old friends. Heather turned me from somebody we didn't really know each other into old friends in a half an hour. She can do that with anybody. And that is her gift and her talent that makes her a tremendous person and a tremendous Denver police officer. And we are fortunate to have her. So thank you, Heather. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to make friends of all of you in the next 30 seconds. No, I really appreciate all of the kind words. I'd like to call out Steve Claiborne, who is my primary TO. And he's part of the reason that I'm still here. People have poured into me through my entire relationship with the Denver Police Department. There are people in this room who knew me when I was a public safety cadet. Joel, Barb, there's several others in this room who've known me a really long time. And it's because of what they poured into me that I have been able to give back to my community, both inside the police department and outside. I'm really proud of the work that I did while I was in sex assaults. I'm really proud of the connections that I have been able to make with my victims and for the people I've been able to hold accountable for the things that they've done. I'm very grateful to be a member of the police department. As Chief Thomas said, it's the best department on the planet, in my opinion, and it's because of the people who are in it. So I'm very proud to be counted in that number. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tech Hohnholz. If I can have Rob come up, please.
Detective Brian Lang, would you step forward, please, sir? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. We're here to recognize Detective Lang, and I'll just read from a statement that I made. During an investigation of the disposition of a body of a suicide victim became the responsibility of Detective Lang to inform the wife of the discovery of her husband's remains. His consideration for her emotional and physical condition were very evident. He showed a high degree of empathy in the situation and the impact this information would have on her mental health. His handling of the conversation expressed a heartfelt concern for her overall well-being. Her letter to the board read in part, "I received a call from Detective Lang, and from the first moment I felt protected and safe. He said he was sorry to be delivering this news to me. He informed me that he had a victim's advocate with him and the medical examiner if I had any questions or needed any support. He was protecting me throughout the entire process. His kindness and compassion were felt over the phone. He is so incredible, I truly don't know how someone is capable of showing so much compassion while doing what he is required to do during the investigation. I am incredibly grateful for his compassion and gentle, supportive demeanor." The CAP award is given in recognition of the conduct Detective Lang showed handling a sensitive and very personal encounter with a community member. So I'm proud to award this plaque and pin to you. There you go, sir. Congratulations. Here's your pen. I have asked 3 people to speak on, like you need people to speak on your behalf. Yes. Commander Clark, Sergeant Riggs, and Glenn Hay. So Commander Clark, there you are. You're already up here. Okay, great.
Congratulations, very good job. Well, first of all, thank you to the CAP board for continuing to recognize officers in the department. This seemingly otherwise routine action that Detective Lang has done countless times, it's easy for us sometimes to forget the impact that these have on individuals and on families. So the public recognition, the acknowledgement of the work that he's doing daily is very important to us, and I appreciate it. You know, Brian's one of probably the most well-rounded investigators that I have in major crimes. Having served in major crimes for 12 years, Brian's worked in domestic violence, in child abuse, and sex crimes, our non-fatal shoot team. He did a couple years in homicide, and now he's on our night shift, working overnight, handling crime citywide. So you think about the scope of investigative work that Brian has done over the last 12 years, the trauma that he's been exposed to, the emotional situations that he deals with daily, and his ability to manage that and not become fatigued. It would be understandable for any of us to look at this and understand it's a lot to carry. It's a heavy load to carry, but he continues to thrive in every assignment. He is, I can't describe him other than highly victim-centric, very family-oriented, and is just a solid investigator all around. And he's the person that you would want to be a part of an investigation if you were involved in some incident. So, Brian, I'm really proud of you. I appreciate the work you've done, not only in this case, but the last 12 years. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to stand before you today to speak about someone who truly exemplifies what it means to serve with integrity and dedication. As a supervisor of the night shift unit, I've had the distinct privilege of working closely with Detective Brian Lang. In our line of work, particularly in homicide and night shift, detectives often find themselves face-to-face with people who are experiencing some of the worst moments of their lives. These are families, friends, and loved ones who have just received life-altering news. What has always stood out to me about Detective Lang is the way he meets those moments, with compassion and with respect. His ability to connect with grieving families, to listen with empathy, and to provide them with a sense of dignity during such painful times is nothing short of extraordinary. Detective Lang is not only an exceptional investigator, he is a relentless advocate for the victims and families he represents. His passion for justice is matched only by the deep sense of responsibility he feels for those impacted by the events he's investigating. He works tirelessly, not for recognition, but because he believes it's the right thing to do. There's no doubt in my mind that Detective Lang is one of the strongest detectives in the department major crime division, and beyond his technical skill, he leads by example, demonstrating daily what it means to carry out this work with heart and humanity. Today, as Detective Lang receives his CAP award, I can think of no one more deserving. His commitment to the city, to justice, and to the people he serves is a testament to the very best of our profession. Congratulations on this well-earned recognition.
My name is Glenn. I'm with the Victim Assistance Unit, and I've had the honor and privilege of getting to work with many of you in this room. But when I think of Detective Lang, compassion, integrity, kindness are words that come to mind. A lot of times, we're delivering the worst news you can imagine to someone. And I think everyone in this room has had to say goodbye to someone that we love. And navigating grief is so difficult. There's not a GPS. There's no way around it, under it, over it. You just have to go through it. It ebbs, it flows, it comes, it goes. And at some point we get to that space where we can think on the memories of our loved ones and feel love and laugh and no longer feel that hurt. We can come to a place where we're grateful that we had that time with them and thankful, but can say we're sad that it's over and still can move forward. Detective Lang is giving people, often victims' families, his cell number. Call me anytime. Working with grieving families, I know that call happens a lot. I've never seen him impatient or unkind. I've seen him have to make very difficult calls and notifications and done it with such compassion that I can honestly tell everyone in this room, if there was a horrible incident in your life and you needed to know that someone was there that cared and is going to do their very best to make a difference, this is a detective I would want on my team. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. More importantly, thank you for being you.
Did you want to say anything more, Detective?
There's no crying in baseball, but for everyone in this room, you're always going to have that multiple calls that you'll never forget. And this is one. It was very routine getting a call to go remove cremains from a home. And then when you have to start cold calling families to let them know that the cremains they have aren't who they thought they had, you just can't prepare for that. And that day Glenn was there to help get me through a lot of those calls and provide their services. But there's just you can't prepare yourself for that. I've been doing this for 22 years, and I will never forget those phone calls. And then learning more about this young lady that lost her husband twice is the only way I can describe it. I'm glad I was able to help her in her time of need as much anybody in this room does, but I'm very thankful for everybody here for this award and for being able to do the job that I do. I've been described as passionate, and I think that's a good description. I will fight for the victim because when I get that call, that's who I'm working for. I'm working for that victim. I'm working for that victim's family. I'm no longer being overseen by even my commander, because that's who I'm dedicated to getting the answers for. No, that doesn't sound right, but that's who I'm working for and who I'm driven to get the closure that they need, to get the answers that they're requesting. So thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, you want everybody up here? Oh.
Step away from the wall a little bit.
There you go.
3, 2, 1. Gotcha. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Yes, sir. No, my pleasure.
Congratulations, Detective Lang. I'd like to ask retired Denver Police Sergeant Margaret Chavez to come up and.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm loving seeing all of you here. This is so special. This award is special to me. It's near and dear to my heart because it recognizes officers for the things they do every day that nobody ever hears about. And so you hear the stories and they make you cry. They're so special. So I'm honored to be able to present this award to Sergeant Monica David-Vickery. Would you come up, please? You're over here. I'm looking for you out there. I'm sorry. Okay, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Monica. Sergeant Monica David-Vickery has shown tremendous sacrifice and generosity during her long and illustrious career. She has the distinction of serving the Denver Police Department for 45 years. Pretty special. And she's the first female officer to hold the honor of the #1 badge. On numerous occasions, she has come across individuals, excuse me, my voice is bad this morning. She has come across individuals or families experiencing financial challenges. Without hesitation and at her own expense, she would find a grocery store and buy and deliver food, or passing the hat with other officers to deliver toys at Christmas for the children. This was no small feat, considering she was a single parent with her own expenses. Sergeant David-Vickery met the Safi, is that correct? Safi family through her son, DPD Commander Michael O'Donnell, and his wife Megan, who are part of a church group sponsoring refugee families. Mr. Safi had cooperated with the American forces in Afghanistan. He and his wife and his 3 daughters, ages 3, 5, and 7, came to the U.S. because they were marked for death by the Taliban. They barely escaped with the clothes on their backs, struggling to get to the U.S. Mr. Safi had no transportation and rode his bike to work. Sergeant David-Vickery became aware of the family struggling to find meaningful employment and reliable transportation to drive the young children to doctor's visits and to school. In typical fashion, she immediately delivered toys and food to the struggling family on her time off. She had recently bought a new car, and moved by what she observed, she took the additional step of donating her 2007 Honda Pilot to the family on September 24th of 2024. The family was overwhelmed with gratitude and are on a path of stabilization. They are self-sufficient and striving. After arriving in the U.S., they had another child, a boy, who is now 9 months old. They named him David, after Sergeant David-Vickery. Her philosophy is noblesse oblige. When you are blessed, you should help others and give back. Sergeant Monica David epitomizes deep and meaningful service to the community, and she clearly leads by example. Congratulations. I'd like to present you with this award. And this is your pen. Okay, I'd like to call Commander Fulmer up, please.
I do want to invite Mike and Megan up here too, because I may be over the juvenile intake unit right now, and so Monica works for me, but really I've always worked with her. And where I first met her, I was a new officer with DPD, and that's where I met Sergeant David. and as a technician. And then when I promoted to sergeant, it was over, I believe, in District 4, or on the border at 4 and 1. And there was a shooting, it was officer-involved shooting, it was chaos, and we were coming over to help. And she's just cool. Like she probably had a Starbucks sipping on it or something. And so she's just like, yeah, here's what you do, here's how you can help out. And then I've stood and worked, amongst giants. And she not only is the #1 badge, but she's the #1 person for many of us. And I can't tell you how humbled and honored, and there's no crying in baseball, so I don't play baseball. So to have this honor in my career, and at the end, as she hits the dawn of her career, to again work for and with Sergeant David, because she will always be my sergeant like she is many of yours. She is known within the unit. That's why I brought up her family, her son, and Megan. And then also Steve, because it's the work family. Everywhere she goes becomes family. And she treats, she's just a good person. So they're all, she's like, but she never wants recognition for it. Everything she does on a daily basis is just the good person award. That's the picture in the dictionary. She takes care of the juveniles. The juveniles that are arrested that come in, they literally call her grandma, and not in a bad way, but she feeds them, she takes care of them because she understands the circumstances they may be coming from. There's so many countless good acts that if we could all just be half of the good person she is, we would be doing something. So we're gonna miss you, and by the way, your retirement is denied because I can do that. So thank you, Monica, and I would like Steve and certainly Mike and Megan, if you feel like to say a couple words. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to work with you.
I truly don't know words can describe the generosity that Monica shares with all the people that she comes in contact with. So I've been working with Monica for almost 6 years now, and we both work in juvenile intake. And she's considered to be one of the most generous people. Some examples are, our refrigerator kind of pooped out. It was about 5 years ago. She bought a brand new fridge. The microwave pooped out. She bought a new microwave. There isn't a week that doesn't go by, she comes, Steve, I've stocked this in the fridge, I've got this for everybody to eat, and everybody really appreciates that because there are some days that we get extremely busy and nobody has time to go out and get anything to eat or do anything. And we rest assured that there's always something provided by Monica that's available for us to eat and for the juveniles who may come in as well. So the other thing is, I really appreciate you working night shift. This woman works from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Incredible.
45 years on department, and she still allows me to work day shift. So thank you.
I just want to say thank you, CAP Board, for considering this. It's pretty rare and unique that you have an opportunity to brag about your mother, who's been on now 46 years. 47 years. So combined, we have about 81 years of service. And I would echo Chief Thomas's comments. This is such an amazing opportunity to highlight some of the stories of the officers that do this kind of work each and every day. My mom, obviously, this is one chapter of what her life has been, the sacrifices that she's made. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today without her beating me. I'm sorry, sacrifices she made. Sacrifices she made to get me to where I am. So I am so proud of my mom for her to come alongside this family that has seen so much brutality, war, just horrific situations, to put them on a path of stabilization. And unfortunately, I talked to Parvis this morning, the Safi family. They're not able to make it, but they are so grateful for what they've experienced. As an update on that, he has a job with the Colorado State tax division stuff. So they're on a path of self-sufficiency. And again, that would not have been possible without her incredible generosity. So I love you. Gutshaw. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to recognize Sergeant Baird, if you would please come to the front. Sergeant Baird has put a significant amount of effort into improving the relationship within the District 2 community by blending his role with the Denver Police Department and complementing it with the generosity shown by him and his brothers of the Masonic Centennial Lodge. Even though Sergeant Baird has family commitments of his own, Sergeant Baird found the time to host clothing drives for men and women at the District 2 station, which started in March of 2024. Sergeant Baird's slogan of "Help us, help others" resonated amongst numerous volunteers, visitors, and those receiving the goods. In addition, Sergeant Baird used a significant amount of his personal time, which is dozens and dozens of hours, by participating at the Operation Youth Rescue presentation, hosted the Back in Action Chess with Kids event, and partnered with PHA Shriners for a school supply backpack giveaway and community barbecue. On April 12th, I personally went to observe the Look Good, Feel Good clothing drive and was able to speak to a member of the community who shared how much the clothing drive meant to her. Not only did she share how appreciative she was, but also shared the fact that it gives her the ability to dress nicer and have access to clothing that she would normally have challenges at obtaining, which also gave her a sense of confidence. Not knowing Sergeant Baird personally, I wanted to ensure that I could connect with someone that knew him best and has worked alongside him. With that effort, I was able to meet Mr. Kenneth Thompson, also known as KT. Speaking with Kenneth, also a brother at Centennial Lodge number 4, Mr. Thompson shared that he met Sergeant Baird over 8 years ago, and there was an instantly brotherly connection. He shared that Sergeant Baird is an overall outstanding human being who always does the right thing for the community. Sergeant Baird is a great humanitarian with great leadership skills. One of the many habits that Sergeant Baird consistently demonstrates is handing out roses to everyone that he meets. Not the flower, but in the form of an accolade. KT is not only grateful to have him as a friend, but truly sees him as a brother. With that, I'd like to ask Sergeant Baird's supervisor, Lieutenant Curtis, to come up.
Thank you, and really, that's downplaying a lot of the efforts that Chris has done over this last year. It's very significant, the amount of time and everything that he has committed to these events, and it's not just one event. So just to kind of put it into perspective, the clothing drives, so he did 2 of them just last year alone, and then has also continued that and done 1 so far this year, which I think there's even talks of maybe potential more in the future. So this is an ongoing effort. Because of the outstanding work that Chris has done, it really, like I said, what KT said really encapsulates the best description of this man right here. He really embodies what it means to protect and serve. It's on all of our cars, but that is really a motto of what Chris lives by, is he goes out there every day with a purpose, and that purpose is really to look out for the community and be their protector and to serve those needs that the community has. So for that, I just want to say thank you, Chris, and you have impacted so many lives. Just from the 2 clothing events alone, it's over 200 people in the District 2 community that you have impacted. That is not just a day-to-day impact, that is a generational impact that this man has had. And I know his mother is here actually, so this is a very proud moment for your mom too, to see the man that you've grown into and what you've done with yourself. And you really are the role model and the embodiment of what everybody should be looking and striving to be. So thank you for that, Chris.
Sergeant Baird has demonstrated what it means to have a servant's heart. In essence, Having a servant's heart is about actively choosing to put the needs of others before our own, leading to positive outcomes for ourselves, our relationships, and our communities. On behalf of the CAP Board, we'd like to thank you for your service, professionalism, and humanitarian efforts by presenting you this award as gratitude for your service.
Can you guys, can you get closer? Closer, yep.
Move this.
You're good. And hang tight 1 second. Sergeant Baird's mom? Sorry. They've asked for you to come up and meet them.
I guess there's no crying in baseball, as they said earlier. I'd like to thank the CAP Board, I thank the command staff, chief, everyone for this opportunity. Like I said, help us help others has been our slogan. I've been the not only the sergeant here in patrol for District 2, I was here at District 3. This is my first time back in a couple of years. I was a corporal here for about 4.5 years, training officer. So it's good to be kind of back home. I see a lot of faces that I've worked with over the number of years. Thank you all. This is an honorable profession, what we do, what we serve. And a lot of times we don't get credit in the ebbs and flows of what takes place in the world. But being a police officer is an honor. It's an honor in that. And being able to go out and help those in need. It's just given me a vehicle to do it. I'd like to thank the brothers from my lodge, Centennial Lodge number 4, for their support, because I always come with crazy ideas and I put them all to work. And so my tenure as a worshipful master of the lodge will end in December, so they'll get a little break after that, hopefully. But loving our community and being able to go out and help others in need is why I put this uniform on every day. Not every call is a go get the bad guy call, and we do answer that call at night when the boogeyman is there and that knock at night, and we do that as well, but also being able to go help those in need. And so I'm very grateful and appreciative. With our lodge, Isaac Brown was the first African-American to serve the Denver Police Department. And he actually was one of the founders of our Masonic organization here in Colorado. And so we stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand shoulder to shoulder with giants, those in this room. We're here to help. Brother Kenji there is from my lodge, and got a few more faces. And so, hey, Brother Carr, is able to tie the community together and really put those deposits into the community. So I can't do it alone. I can't do it without the VIPs. I can't do it without command staff giving me the green light that, hey, I got another idea. Let's roll with it. So I do thank you all. Thank you.
I just also want to share a little something about Sergeant Baird. I am new to District 2, and unfortunately we had a death in the community, and the CROs that I work with, their first comment was, I bet you Baird knows him. And sure enough, we walked down the hall and we shared with Sergeant Baird that this community member had passed away, and he starts rattling off his kids' names and make sure that even though his shift was pretty much done, he was going to go make sure that family had everything they needed and was taken care of. So it's an honor to work with you, Sergeant Baird. All right, I'd like to ask Lieutenant Sandoval, Officer Ukin, and Officer Gutshaw to come up, please. On an early fall morning, around 4:30 a.m. last year, Officer Ukin was patrolling with his partner when they observed a suspicious vehicle parked behind a local restaurant. They contacted and detained the vehicle occupants. In the rear passenger seat was a little girl. The child's father, who was an occupant of the vehicle, stated he was homeless and that they were living with his mother, the child's grandmother. The child stated that her mother had passed away a couple years ago. Officer Ukin and his partner drove the child to her grandmother, with whom she had been living. On the way to her grandmother's house, the child shared with officers her distress about her father's impending jail time. She was particularly upset about being unable to trick-or-treat on Halloween without her father. And because her grandmother couldn't afford to buy candy, she would be without treats on Halloween. The grandmother, upon arrival, and they have a conversation with Grandma, the grandma shared that she expressed difficulty in getting the girl enrolled in school. The officers contacted Denver Human Services, informed them of the incident, and requested their assistance enrolling the child in school, which they did. On Halloween night, Officer Ukin and Officer Gutshaw went to the child's grandmother's home and gave her a trick-or-treat bucket filled with candy. The child was delighted to see the officers and the candy. As they were leaving, this young girl asked the officers if they were coming back for her birthday next week. They said, sure. And they said, what do you want for your birthday? And she said, a Barbie doll. Later that week, on the child's birthday, Officer Ukin and Officer Gutshaw returned and gifted her a Barbie doll and a dollhouse that would make Cinderella jealous. Both officers stayed to help build the dollhouse, ensuring the child's joy was their priority. The story of this sweet young girl that these officers were helping was shared with Lieutenant Sandoval. Naturally, Lieutenant Sandoval commended his officers on their above and beyond service and compassion they showed to this young girl. In fact, Lieutenant Sandoval agreed that these actions were worthy of a CAP nomination. And so he worked with Officer Ukin and Officer Gutshall's sergeant to draft and submit a CAP nomination. In follow-up, Lieutenant Sandoval also reached out to our District 3 Outreach Case Coordinator to ask about resources and how District 3 officers could help support this little girl, knowing she and her grandma would be needing resources as they adjusted to the new changes in their life. Lieutenant Sandoval connected with the Outreach Case Coordinator, Erica, to ask her for further assessment on the family's needs and on what resources DPD could connect this family with. He also asked Erica, the Outreach Case Coordinator, to report back with a list of everything the family needed. He shared that he wanted this family to have a good start on their new journey together. The Outreach Case Coordinator got right to work and reported back the information to Lieutenant Sandoval had asked for in the form of an Amazon shopping list of needs and wants totaling nearly $500. As Thanksgiving approached and the well-being of this family remained on the minds of Lieutenant Sandoval, Officer Ukin, and Officer Gutshaw, they made sure this family had a plentiful Thanksgiving dinner, compliments of the Denver Police Foundation. Officer Ukin and Officer Gutshaw delivered this meal in time for the Thanksgiving holiday, which gave them another great opportunity to visit with this family. Meanwhile, word had spread about this sweet girl around District 3. As Lieutenant Sandoval had shared with his officers about her story and how he wanted to support this family. And of course, the District 3 officers also wanted to help. Lieutenant Sandoval decided it might be a nice opportunity to have an event or an activity themed around the holidays, to let this family know that our District 3 family cares about them and wants them to thrive in our community. And as word spread about this, officers from other shifts began to offer their support. One officer even offered to find Santa and bring him to the station. After exploring many different ideas for this celebration, Lieutenant Sandoval decided to have a holiday party at the District 3 station for this young girl. While there were many details that went into planning this festive event, Lieutenant Sandoval had already purchased the items on the Amazon list that the outreach case coordinator had given him. Also, Officer Ukin had a really special surprise, too, for this young girl, something she really wanted for Christmas, her very own vanity and makeup table, along with a few other special gifts. The reason I can share in the details of what I'm about to share with you is because I was lucky enough to be at District 3 on the day of this celebration. And like the many other officers who wanted to help, I too was inspired. As the day for this special party came, there were lots of presents to wrap. So I went down to the roll call room to see if I could help with the wrapping. And to my amazement, several officers from the day shift had already completed this project. I must mention that the wrapping was very unique. We had Barbie on one side, Hello Kitty on the other, and the side no one can see didn't have any paper on it. But while I say this with humor, what was apparent was the day shift officers wanted to help this young girl too. Even though they had never met her, it was important to them to contribute to this young girl's special celebration. As the celebration started, Lieutenant Sandoval, Officer Ukin, and Officer Gutshaw made sure this young girl was treated like a princess, and her chariot, a Denver police car. Several other District 3 officers chose to join this party as well. And they quickly learned that this young girl had leadership skills, and she called herself the boss. And she felt so comfortable around these officers, she let them know she was the boss, especially Lieutenant Sandoval. After a station tour came the best surprise. We all learned that Elsa wanted to visit the District 3 station. I guess someone at the Denver Police Foundation let her know about our special young guest. And Elsa showed up and surprised this young girl with a matching Elsa dress. And they danced, and they shared treats, and they opened presents with the officers that night before her chariot took her back home. Because of Lieutenant Sandoval, Officer Ukin, and Officer Gutshall's above and beyond spirit of kindness and compassion, a relationship was built and new happy memories were made for this family and our officers. As I've had the honor of watching this story evolve, I am reminded of the quote, "It takes a village to raise a child." Lieutenant Sandoval, Officer Ukin, Officer Gutshaw, through your above and beyond actions of compassion and kindness, you have inspired that village of support into being. I'd like to ask Commander Bell to come up for a moment.
Thank you. First thing I noticed in that whole story is Troy doesn't let me call him the boss, that I'm the boss. So we'll talk about that later. It's such a pleasure to stand alongside these officers and recognize their incredible act of humanity. Brian Lane put something in the air. I'm getting choked up there. And the service that reminds us that the true meaning of what wearing this badge is. There is a long argument whether law enforcement officers are warriors or guardians. I say yes. They are both. They're not mutually exclusive. These three officers display these two traits on a daily basis. I read the end of watch and see the great work you do. Troy, I walk alongside you and witness the great work you do as well. These three officers went above and beyond the call of duty, not surprisingly. Their actions should remind us all that good deeds are contagious. A behaviorist labels this as pro-social modeling, but it's simply that compassion breeds compassion. I thank Troy, Nikita, Carly for showing us that service is not just about duty. It's about wearing your heart on your sleeve. Troy, after 20 years of service, more than 20 years of service, it pleases me to see that you have not been calloused by the demands of the profession. Nikita, Carly, keep wearing your heart on your sleeve. It is contagious. So thank you.
As a Marine and a Denver police officer, I'm always taught that we're not supposed to cry. There's only two places, in my car or in the shower. So after this, I'll probably just go in my car. If you see me crying, everything's okay. But I couldn't be happier to work alongside these two. They do a great job on the overnight shift. So while everyone is counting sheep and sawing logs, these two are going investigating the bumps in the night. So it takes a different kind of person to walk into an area that's dark and they have no idea what's going to happen or what they're going to go up against. And they came up on this kind of call. They expressed extreme compassion, and then they brought it to my attention. And honestly, I couldn't have done any of this without Christy's help, the commander's help, and these two keeping me informed of what's going on. So I would love to thank both of them and everyone here for the CAP award and for recognizing that they do great work. Most of our detail, they are exactly like this. And by most, I mean 99% of them. The other 1%, sometimes you got to break out the whip or the stick and get them to keep going. But you know what? I don't mind that part of my job either. But I just want to make sure that everyone knows the great work that these individuals do. They definitely deserve this award, and I'm very honored to work alongside them.
It needs to be mentioned how impactful the support of the Outreach Case Coordinator program has been to this family. Lieutenant Sandoval leaned on the Outreach Case Coordinator, Juliana. Juliana, can you raise your hand? Thank you. To continue to support and provide these resources needed to help this family. Also, due to a generous donor of the Outreach Case Coordinator program, this little girl went on a princess shopping spree trip last week with the District 2 CROs. District 2, can you guys raise your hand? Thank you. Lieutenant Sandoval, Officer Ukin, and Officer Gutshaw, your service to this family could have ended after you dropped this young girl off at her grandma's house on that early fall morning. You could have gone about your days responding to your calls and knowing you showed compassion and brought that little girl home to her grandma safe and sound. Job well done. What makes you worthy of a CAP award is that you didn't let your service and compassion end. You chose to leave this family better than when you met them, equip them with resources, a path forward, and all of you ensured that the memories this family will have about police are memories of caring and kindness. You chose to share your compassion and generosity beyond the call of duty. You chose to build a relationship with this family. We congratulate today's 7 award recipients. We sincerely appreciate your above and beyond service to our community. We hope, as we honor our award recipients today, we also indirectly honor all the numerous untold stories of our Denver police officers who serve our community above and beyond the call of duty daily. As we conclude, the CAP Board would like to extend our gratitude to all our dignitaries and guests for attending today's ceremony. Our CAP Board sends our sincere appreciation to all of the men and all the women of the Denver Police Department. We give our heartfelt acknowledgments to all of our dedicated police officers as you go about your day-to-day duties. We recognize the risks you face daily, the sacrifice you stand ready for, and your unwavering commitment to serve and protect all those who call upon you. Can I have all the CAP Board recipients come up to the front of the room, please? Thank you, Commander. We do this so one, you can do exactly what you're doing, but as soon as we're finished, we're going to ask them to stand right here so we can get a couple of pictures before they speak with their loved ones. So can I get a round of applause for all our award recipients again today? The CAP board wants you to know that we want all the men and women who, as a whole, make up the Denver Police Department to know we see you, we appreciate you, and we need you. From the CAP board to all of you, thank you for your service. This concludes today's ceremony.